Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On the Mic with the M.
Auntie,
Hey, today, oh boy, we're going to talk about some things that's been in the news lately. Been around for a while, and this is dealing with who transitional kids or kids who are gay or feel like they should be another sex, and how do parents, step parents, how do we deal with that? How do we really have that conversation with when you're dealing with a kid, male, female, who now wants to be the opposite sex? Oh, this is gonna be dicey. So what you think, T?
I like it. I like it because it's not my arena. And anytime it's not your problem now, that means it's gonna be your problem later.
That is true. That's so true because I hear people talk about, "Whew, I'm glad it ain't my problem. I wouldn't, I,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do, I wouldn't have nothing to do with that." And here's the first thing I'm going to say. As a parent, nobody I know walking the face of this earth would want their kid to be gay or want their kid to think that they should be a different sex because we know the turmoil that they're going to have to go through. It's not going to be oh, okay, you just want to be gay. No, because you're dealing with customs. You're dealing with, if you have a son, like, oh, I always want to have that grandkid, and I always, have his beautiful wife, and you had that fairy tale thing. So you plan on, yeah, my I have a little, my son gets married, have a kid. Now, Poppy's here, pop, and looking forward to that. But if your kid comes up to you, say, Dad, I'm gay, and then you got to say, oh shit, you're gay, and again, you have to love your kid unconditionally. You can't hate them because of that, because of the way they feel.
hmm
But it does make you kind of question your thoughts on it or how you would
I
take it.
mean, I think from my perspective, um, the households receive that conversation piece totally different.
Hmm.
There's going to be some households who the moms are going to receive that message, and it's almost going to be taken as if the child came up to the mom and said, "Mom, I'm thirsty. Like, go get some
Hmm.
water. Mom, I'm gay. Okay, get on my face."
Yes. Yes, that's
Like,
true.
I'm going to be the most unreactive parent here because it's beginning to be so popular that if you entertain it too negatively, it can possibly grow and it wasn't supposed to, right? Because at
Yeah.
this point, we don't know if our children I think someone explained to me we have lots of babies being born with an imbalance in the normal um, hormones. So
Really?
if yes, absolutely. And that's one thing that I don't think that we're speaking about a lot when we have this conversation, that there's a nice amount of the population of girls who just have and are born with, they didn't go to the doctors to take a lot of testosterone. They were just born with a lot of testosterone, right? And you
Hmm.
probably can see these women and you know who they were when you were growing up. And you look back like, maybe she just was born because I know her mama wasn't taking her to the doctor's office back then getting testosterone. No, no.
That's true.
Naturally, the body can be imbalanced. And some girls have more testosterone than they're supposed to be a woman. Whereas we're going to assume that the other side of that is that you're going to have some boys whose body naturally produces, excess estrogen. So that's number two. Like, it's just a clinical situation. And so your child is bopping between really trying to figure out themselves. What do you do as a parent? Technically, a lot of parents are just being non-reactive, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna respond, not say non-responding, but not reacting and getting all into the feelings. The other side to that is, are we questioning that our parenting? There's a lot of women, especially the women,
Oh,
who question their parenting that they, you know what I'm saying, put onto their children. Did I socialize them properly? Did I fail them some? Bitch, you didn't. No, no. I
That's
mean,
true. That's
I
true.
mean, if a child comes home speaking on something that you didn't feel like you exposed them to, right? Because when people
Yeah.
talk to me and they'll be like, hey, Tamara, such and such said, did you know she's gay now? And I'm like, oh, and I don't care that these children are,
Yeah. Gay.
gay, so to speak, but I'm always trying to figure out, what does a 7-year-old know about sex to be gay?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a
Like,
good question.
yeah, and it's not. So my sister came for me one day. We were talking about a young lady who basically said, she was didn't want to be a girl anymore at 12. And I went back to the what do kids know about sex at that age, at 12? And she looked at me and she said, well, you got some damn nerve. And I,
Really?
little sister got some nerve? Right? And she basically was like, girl, at 12, that's when you get feelings, right? And
Uh-huh.
that's when those little butterflies get to going in the belly. That's when you get to looking at the guys and they start to looking a little bit different than just the guy you wanted to bop upside their head, and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. And so I don't know how they're able to verbalize it at 12. Oh, I don't like girls. I don't like boys. I like girls. I don't like girls. I don't know how you're able to verbalize it at such young ages. But I do recall that you do have feelings for the opposite sex at very young years, right?
Yeah.
To somebody at 10. Remember, you used to get married to people on the
I remember
we used to get married on
that.
the
I
playground.
remember
I
that
got
shit.
married to
You
people
get
on the
married and remember little
playground.
notes. I like you. You like me.
Yeah.
Yes or no? I love you. I
But
love.
think
Do you
about
love
how
me?
old you
And give a
were.
little piece of paper. You sit there.
Malcolm, how old
I
was
was
you when
probably
you was making that
nine,
little
10.
box? Yeah,
I was 9 and
yeah.
10. I remember that. It
And
was like nine and
you
ten, but
had
I
those little
didn't really know.
feelings. But you
Sure
had
did.
those little feelings, and you couldn't quite, label what it was, and you couldn't quite describe it. But you did have feelings towards,
Mm-hmm.
like, a bit of liking that wasn't the same bit of like that you had for, like, your cousin or your mother type of like, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So there's certainly something going on to where they say, no, I'm not really like feeling those guys in the corner, but the girls over there looking like something. It got to the point where I had to, for myself,
Wow.
pause how I was receiving the conversation and
Uh-huh.
kind of stepping back and saying, you know what? I don't know as much as I think I know about this subject piece, and it might do me some good to pay attention, because
Mm-hmm.
again, that might have been 10 years ago when that
Mm-hmm.
situation came to maybe like 7 to 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it didn't have nothing to do with me. I'm out of that loop.
Exactly.
Anything that don't have nothing to do with you today might have something to do with you tomorrow.
That's
So you
hello.
might want to pay attention and see exactly and I think that's what ended up happening, is that a lot of people just try to ignore the whole LGBTQ
Mm-hmm.
movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we were not a part, or at least we felt like we were not a part of it. We felt like
Exactly.
it had nothing to do with us, as they're adding more letters to the slogan
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. And it's like, we ain't got a clue on what's going on, but why not? When it's literally affecting our children and our
Mm-hmm.
peers.
You know what, T? Here's the issue. Here's the biggest issue of it of all: religion. When you're raised religious, you
Uh-huh.
know in the Bible you cannot. You had Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, if you're in church, and dealing with the black church, it was just also an amazing thing, because damn well the guy that's playing the organ is probably gay. I'm just throwing that out there. A lot of people realized or thought that, oh, yeah, he gay, but yet this poor guy who's in the church and doing all he can for the church, you basically tell him every Sunday he's gonna burn in hell. But that
Mm-hmm.
guy coming there, he do his tithe, he's part of the community. But you really say, yeah, we accept all that, we take your tithes, but you still gonna burn in hell because you're gay. So then that's that. Oh, in fact, you're kidding, and it's gonna sound real fucked up. Growing up, you could actually have a disease, and they'll have more empathy for you than if you say you were gay. You would rather say I had cancer than that I was gay
Mm-hmm.
because it was such a stain, such a absolute disgrace that was put on the family, and they just ostracized you, and they just hit you with the Bible and throw holy water on you because it was a stain.
Mm-hmm.
And when you heard you have a gay cousin or Lord knows only be a gay sister or brother, they ostracized them. You can't
My
come
thing
around
is,
here.
why we want to fix the gay people? I mean, you ain't near not to never come across a diabetic person and be like, oh, let me get you some recipes. Let me help you with your diabetes. A heavy set person. Oh, you're struggling with your weight. Let me help you get your weight. That skinny, super skinny joint. Oh, you gotta get your weight up. Let me help you. Why we want to help the gay community not be gay no more, but we don't want to help no other community with nothing else. Where they
This
do
is
that at?
so goddamn true. This is so damn true because we pick and choose the shit that we want to work with. Now, there we're in churches. They be cooking those damn hog maws, all the goddamn bacon fat, all the other damn fat that's getting everybody high blood pressure,
Yeah,
diabetes, heart issues.
it's
But you
several
still cook that
sins.
shit.
Yeah,
Yes, a whole
gluttony is
lot
a
of shit.
sin. Yeah, I
But,
mean, there's
but
several of them. And we
exactly.
get to sin, all, but you want to judge somebody else's sins heavier than
Yes.
your own.
And why should I be concerned about anybody what they do in their bedroom? I
Yeah,
should
that's
not be
between you and the
worried
Lord.
about that. Yeah, why am
Mm-mm,
I worried about what you do in your
mm-mm.
bedroom?
I'm not
And
doing
then
it.
it's like, and then oh Lord, don't let him be a teacher. Oh Lord, you can't have a gay teacher. You can't, and that's why a lot of people kill themselves growing up because
Mm-hmm.
it was such a burden and you had nowhere to go. And then you had preachers that say, you know what, let's pray the gay away from you. Let's pray the gay away
Yeah,
from you.
just bow
Oh,
your head. Get a
just bow
little
your
holy
head.
water. Get a little. Don't forget the holy water because
Got
you're
to
going to
sprinkle you.
need that to help get the gay away. Like what?
Exactly. And
But ain't nobody near. I never prayed away that gluttony. Like
no,
where
nope.
they do that at?
The
Nah, get
gluttony,
your
the
holy.
the adultery, all the
Nah,
other shit that's going on. You
the
still shoot
adultery.
people. You
Right?
still
Like
do all
come
the
on.
other shit.
All the
So
other stuff going on inside the church, and you said, "Now let's pray the gay away." That's it. That's the only thing we gotta worry about.
that's what's destroying the nation. It's the gay people. No, it's not the gay people. The gay people
Mm-mm.
not destroying shit. It's people who are, I call them the really religious, the organized religious people who always want to look at a book and tell you all the shit that's gonna put you in hell, but you treat people like shit every day who ain't gay. You treat
Mm-hmm.
people, you talk about people, you gossip about people, you do all that shit. But Lord knows, don't be gay, because that's gonna put you in the first goddamn boat to hell. And now you pass it on. The kids like feel so way they grew up with like that. There's people who parents died and they never knew they were gay, or they never told them when they were gay because they knew, oh, Lord, if I tell my mom or dad, they're gonna die. Well,
I've,
why?
I've seen the kids go away to college. You leave out
Uh huh.
go study abroad. Mom, I'm just studying abroad. Your child is out in Paris
Mm,
living their best life
there you go.
because
There
they
you go.
couldn't be 100% with you. I mean, we got into a car accident years ago, right?
Hmm.
And my sisters, the reason why we were having that conversation at that moment with the 12-year-old is because her stepchild um, was speaking about no longer being a girl. She
Hmm.
wanted to be a boy. And fast forward a few years later, my sister and I got into a car accident. And the people who randomly got into the car with the, nice people on the side of the road who stopped for the car accident and gave us a ride 45 minutes into town type of thing. But
Uh-huh.
while riding with these folks, we got to talking because you got to talk about something. Why
True.
was our transgender children the topic of discussion. Because come to find out, we're the Black, suburban folk, right?
Mm-hmm.
PG County raised, all that good stuff. And these are the white, rural, what is that? Eastern Shore group of people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Totally different backgrounds, totally different
Wow.
people, right? Totally different
Uh-huh.
everything.
Everything.
Everything. All the influences on the children would have been different. We're still in the
Yeah.
same boat. Now, their
Wow.
child had decided, like we said before, one of those folks who go off to college
Mm-hmm.
and they don't come back home. And they were saying they hadn't seen their child in maybe 2 or 3 years. And the kid basically picked up the phone and said, hey, yeah, just so you know, I'm gay. And that was in year 1. And then by the time
Wow.
the child got to year 3, the child was like, yeah, and by the way, I'm going to change my sex. And so
Oh
they're
my
at
God.
home looking, silly as all hell. They don't know if their child is going to return back what gender. And they felt like they had lost their child.
Yes.
They didn't
Yes.
feel like their kid was going through something and they were going through it with them. They were just feeling like they had lost their kid. And the
Oh,
only thing we
wow.
could say is, why did the child feel like they couldn't talk to you until they went out of the country?
Mm-hmm.
Now, our children might just go out of the state to another state, pick up the phone, say, hey, mom and dad, I'm gay. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
These
True.
went out of the country.
God damn.
And so it's like,
Wow.
what type of household dynamic did we create to where the child doesn't feel safe or supported?
Again, we go back to religion, because if you're a Bible driven person and you live your life through the Bible, it to them is like that is blasphemous. You cannot. You can. This. I don't know what I did. What I did to make you gay. I know we
Mm-hmm.
took you to church. We gave you the proper training, the teachings of the Bible. We did all that to you. We didn't hang around no gay people. Those people. So we don't know what happened.
We don't
Well,
know where you got this from.
we don't. The devil got you. The devil came in and got you. That damn devil. I knew it coming and working mysterious ways. The damn devil got you. So
And then
now,
they'll be talking to a 14-year-old kid about how the devil done got them, making them feel like shit. And
yep.
then, now you just got a rebellious teenager, because technically they ain't know if they was coming or going no goddamn way.
No.
And here you go, making them feel like nothing.
Absolutely.
Well, now which way am I going?
And now you got the shame you put. Now here's the thing: as a child, you would think the most understanding person in the world would be and should be your parents.
Yeah.
Before you go to anybody else, you say, let me go to my parents. They love me. You should love them unconditionally. I use that high quotation, unconditionally. But really, people love their kids with conditions. And that's why this whole thing with being gay or being lesbian or anything else kicks in, because you you should be like, I want my kid to be happy. I may
Yeah.
not like being gay, he or she being gay. Am I happy with that? Hell no, because that's another set of issues that they're gonna have to deal with in this life. You got enough shit in life to deal with, but you throw that into the mix. Now you're gonna deal with some other unnecessary bullshit. But I, as a parent, should be supportive. But you're not gonna be supportive because why? It makes you look bad. Oh my God, what did I do as a parent? And now, how is everybody else gonna look at me as a parent? What did they
Yeah.
do to turn
What
their
are you?
kid gay?
Yeah, you're then looking at your peer group.
Yep, sure are.
And you so worried about how your child is misrepresenting you that you forgot to properly represent your child for those types
Oh,
of people. Yeah,
hello.
it goes both ways. And
Oh, that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
oh yeah,
And now you have to deal with that. And again, I'm gonna say this: some people rather have their kids on drugs than be gay. I'd rather say my kid was on drugs real bad and he had to go rehab and all that. They would rather say their kid
yeah.
was on drugs and high as a kite and getting in trouble than say they're gay. And that gay kid, a student, doing well, working hard every day, not causing no problems. But his knucklehead brother, gay, I mean not gay, but on drugs, you rather talk about that crazy brother who's on drugs than the gay one, because
Mm-hmm.
that's a stain on you. Now the drugs should be a stain on you too, because what the hell did you do if you have one gay, which you have no control over, and one's on drugs? So what happened that made that kid get on drugs?
Yeah.
Because the kids just will say, you know what, I want to get high today. So why would that kid go and get high? So your lack of parenting, your lack of love, your lack of that missing it is causing problems. And again, if kids understand when you're little that your parent is not an approachable person, then you're gonna hold that shit to yourself because you're not gonna tell them. You rather dance around and wear the dresses, and you don't want to wear, behind closed doors and do that rather than come out because you don't want to deal with the anger, the disappointment, and the
Mm-hmm.
just pure, just unadulterated hate you're gonna have, because it's really gonna be a hate. Like, I can't believe you besmirched my name by being gay. And that's how a lot of people think, and that's why you have people commit suicide all the time because of that shit.
And yeah, it's from the pressures and not being able to deal with that backlash. And it's like, backlash or what? Exploring yourself. And don't get me wrong, it's not my arena. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I don't have children to come out of the closet type of thing. I'm not in that lifestyle. But it's just
No.
like a level of respect that is being kind of overcasted, right? As
Yep.
far as just respecting a child's childhood, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the part that's kind of being casted over, is that we're not respecting the childhood part to it.
No, not
The
at
fact
all.
that if I come to you with something, that you're able to give me a level-headed, not only just response, but also directing of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm coming and I'm talking to you about my sexual orientation and we've not yet spoken about sex,
Oh, shit. Yeah,
but
that's a problem right
now,
there.
yeah, I mean, that is a problem right there in itself, that you have a child who you have not been taking the lead on talking to this child about sex or
Mm-hmm.
sex acts or any feelings that go along with liking somebody or anything like that. And so if your child comes back to you and says, yeah, hey, I'm stating my sexual orientation, and you haven't even had a basic conversation about, hell, human anatomy, you might have to understand that your child's vessel is being filled up by some influences that are not you,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to now add to those, and you don't have to try to undo the nonsense, because how can you?
You
How
can't.
can you? But you do have to try to assist and add to.
Yes.
It's just like the whole transgender, what we see today in children who really want to change their sex on like a science, like biological level.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of people are talking about like how to make a decision on, you know, an alteration to their gender.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned about the medical industry
Mm.
because, in my opinion, are they not the ones that were kind of boasting the idea that, hey, to have the best results for your child to change their genders, they should start before puberty?
What?
That
Oh,
is it.
hell no. See, and
That
here's
is,
my thing. That
and
before,
scientifically, it makes
uh-uh,
sense.
it does. But the thing is, you have to look at the kid's emotional state. You can't just say, "Oh yeah, they felt they want to be a man, a boy now. Let's go ahead and do it." You have to do some serious
I've missed everything you
psychotherapy
just
or
said.
real brain. Oh, they have to do some serious psychotherapy to understand if that's really how the kid feels. Because if they just go ahead and say, "Oh, I felt like I want to be gay or I want to be a girl," and you make the change, and they're like, "Oh, I don't really feel that way no more." Now you done went and changed this. You don't change this person's life totally, because if they're a woman,
Yeah.
you don't took out anything for them to have a baby if they decide, oh, I want to, have a baby now. So to me, it has to be some time before the actual permanency of that situation becomes into fruition, because it can't be just like, okay, let's give them a couple months. No, 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 no. We need to really find out if that's really what they're going to do, because once it happens, it's pretty much done.
Yep. Nope. We have children in America who are starting, hormone replacement therapy as young as 12, before their puberty kicks all the way in, before those extreme female parts or extreme male parts start to mature, before that voice starts to deepen, before the Adam's apple becomes pronounced. They start them
Oh,
on the
wow.
therapy. And this is, if the medical industry, in my opinion, gives you the thumbs up and says, it's safe,
Mm,
those are the ones that technically, that's our lead, right? If they
yes.
tell us that the medicine is good, then, we trust and we do it. And so, to me, I don't want to say they're failing us as a whole, but it's not a whole story being sold, because
No.
you have the younger people who are just kind of seeing, oh, okay, I guess I'm a man and I don't want to be a man, I want to be a woman, and I can if I come up with the right amount of money. But there's that whole other group of older people who try to do the whole transgender or live several years, in a certain lifestyle, who they have a story.
Mm-hmm.
Their story isn't the most idealistic, and
Mm-hmm.
it's one that needs to really be neck and neck with the whole medical industry's idea of what you can achieve, because it's almost like it's going to be a walk in the park to become a whole nother person, right? To take your lady parts and turn them into man parts, or take your man parts and turn them into lady parts. And yeah, there's some sensation that's going to still be there, but I don't know that anybody has had a success rate that to where they're just like, oh yes, this
Yes, that's true.
is not the case. Let's be 100% honest about this situation of people, because the part about the medical industry, especially in America, that kills me is still capitalistic.
Oh, yes.
It
Oh,
still
yes.
operates off of capitalism. And so how the hell can you trust what they're saying if the bottom line is to increase how much money they make? If our leaders' job is to get more money into their pockets, what
That is
is,
very true.
you know what I'm saying? Like, how much can I trust what you advising, my kids and my people in this arena?
Well, you just said it. How many times you look at TV during the day and they promote so much shit on TV about different medications you could take for all kinds of shit I never even heard of before. And so if you're sitting there and looking at TV like, oh, I got that problem.
Yeah,
So all you're gonna do is reach out to your doctor, say, hey, on TV, I have eczema. So can you give me that? And the doctor, okay, sure. I know you
sure,
got it. So now it's almost like it's like a candy shop. It's like, oh, let me try that, let me try that, let me try that. So now you're
and
hooked on a whole lot of other shit,
yep.
and you
My,
don't even really know if you need it.
let me ask you this: what
Hmm.
other country allows pharmaceutical companies to advertise to people?
I don't know of any other than here.
I actually only think it's only allowed in America.
Because it's crazy. I
It's a
mean,
crazy concept. Why do I need to go to my practitioner who
mhm.
has endured all of these years of school, all of
Yep,
this experience, has the certifications, is required to continue their education, maintains a proper malpractice? Like, this is their job.
yep,
This
not
is
mine.
their level of expertise. It's not even a job. Like,
Exactly.
this is their profession. And you want me to go in to their office and tell them how to treat me?
That crazy. Again, as
I ain't
you a
doing it.
hairstylist,
And I for damn sure ain't paying you full price for it.
see, again. That's shit that I don't understand. It's like if I come to you and to do my hair, I'm going to come to you and ask your expertise. Why? Because you have training, you have a
Yep.
license. You
Yep.
know, I'm not going to just say, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. T told me something different. Ah, fuck T. I'm going to go ahead and take that. And your
Yeah.
hair fall out.
Yeah.
And
Then
you're
you
like,
look
oh,
dumb.
shit.
Or your shit all dry. And you talking about, but girl, you told me to use this shampoo, but I decided to use that shampoo. Oh, that's what you decided, huh? Yeah, because you could feel the porosity of your hair and saw that the texture and come get the hell out of here. If you wanted to self-advise, then why'd you even involve me in it? Because you trust
Exactly.
me and what I'm doing to
Yes.
let me do what it is that I do. I don't need to relinquish any of the control over to the consumer, right? I don't need you to comb your hair while I'm cutting it. I don't need any help to do what it is that I'm doing.
You sure don't. You absolutely don't. And now you're letting the most dumbest, uninformed people on God's green earth to
Mm-hmm.
tell you what they need.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the moment that happens, you know, you die or something, you get sick. Now you have lawyers calling you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Looking
what
dumb.
happened? I just took it. Well, did they tell you to take it? No, I saw it on TV. So now they're like, oh, you're a fool then. Because why the hell would you
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and take something off TV when? What do you know about it? Do you ever go to
Mm-hmm.
school for
Mm-hmm.
anything? Oh, I took a couple science classes, but motherfucker, you didn't spend 10 years in school to learn this.
Yeah.
So again, you it's like going back to having that type of surgery. I just can't go to somebody and say, hey, can I have the surgery? Of course, they're going to say, yeah. I'm going to have a surgery. Yeah, you should. But I know there's protocols that you have to, there's certain things you have to do because it's such a life altering thing to do that they force you to live as a woman or as a male to see if you can adjust to that lifestyle because you can't just say, oh yeah, I want to do it, and we cut and snip, and all of a sudden you go through some epiphany like, oh my God, I don't think I want to be a guy. Well, you're a guy now.
Mm-hmm.
So what you gonna do? Walk around with a
Or,
thing?
oh my gosh, I'm not happy still. I'm a man.
Oh
I
shit.
wanted to be a man. And I thought that the problem was the gender that I was. But now that I'm another
Oh
gender, I still do not like myself. Like, if you
wow.
look in the mirror and you genuinely say, hey, I look like a woman, but I don't feel like how the hell do a woman feel?
That's true. I don't know how a woman feel. I know how a
What
man
is
feel.
it? Yeah, like, but what is it? Even like a man, what is it that? What is it that's in you where you look in the mirror, you're like, hey, I'm a man, but I don't feel like a man.
That's a
Look, the
good question.
spectrum to be a man or to be a woman is so broad and extreme. You know, if
Yes,
you
it is.
remember and think about, I'm gonna use Prince because I
Mm-hmm.
have to, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because he's a straddler. He like to straddle
Uh-huh.
the fence of, you know, men at their finest is what I'm gonna call it, you
Yep.
know.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm gonna assume that on some days, guess what? Prince wasn't feeling like a super masculine, burly ass man. And so,
Nope.
guess what? He wasn't because he wasn't feeling that. And the same thing as a woman, baby. If I ain't feeling heels, guess what? I'm putting on my Timberlands because I
Yes.
ain't feeling it. And so, to me, and not all of the community, but to me, are there some people in the community who just don't understand the spectrum, the broad spectrum that their sex actually exists on?
Wait a minute. You just said something that I kind of know the answer to. Because we don't talk about sex at all.
At
So
all.
you just kind of in your way through it
Mhm.
because you can't ask your parents because we
Nope.
was growing up, you can ask some shit about, well, you know what, I was having this feeling. You better shut the fuck up and go on and pray on it. They don't
Hmm.
want to hear that shit. It's like, so now you're like, oh damn. So who do I talk to? You talk to no one. So now you're a confused child trying to figure out some stuff. People don't want to give you the answer because they always tell you, if I tell you about sex, you're going to have sex. Well, no,
That's the
motherfuckers,
thing.
you're gonna have sex
Yeah.
anyway.
I
I
know
mean,
you're gonna have sex anyway. You're gonna
exactly.
sex. If you're living, you're gonna have sex. And if you're living and you ain't having sex, I'm sad for you. Okay. I'm
Yes.
you. Our job
Yes.
is to set our children up to have the best sex possible. Period.
And you have to
Period.
train them. Either you train them or they talk to their dumbass friends who know less than them trying to tell you what you're supposed to be doing. And next year, you know, you're going to fuck around, have somebody pregnant, or catch a
Listen,
disease, or do some other fuck shit. And
that's
now I got to have that conversation with you.
those was the top three. Those was the you just listed off the top three. Don't allow your kids to receive advice exclusive because they're going to receive advice from each other, but with
Yep.
exclusivity to each
Mm-hmm.
other. I hope that my kids is in their friend group circle pretending to be the pro. So my
Yes.
mama told me that, or my daddy told me that information. You ain't got to
Yes.
say that out loud, but you know that you got solid information and you know exactly who you got it from. And if anybody tries to challenge that information, you go back to the person you got it from and you ask more questions.
Exactly. And but nowadays, with the invention of the internet, all you gotta do is type in sex. These kids see some shit that it took us literally our teenage years to see. And literally you have to go and find it. You have to find the material. Now these kids go and hit sex, boom, you see everything. Problem
Yeah.
is, it doesn't tell them exactly what they need to know.
No, it tells them actually nothing that you talking about 7-year-olds, hell, kindergartners. They'll
Yep.
be watching double penetration. Fuck it. I'm gonna just come out with it.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Now it'd be extreme stuff going on. I mean, and if
damn.
Viewers can pretend like not my kids ain't watching that. Shit, do they ride the school bus? Do they sit next to somebody else in school?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wherever you got a kid that ain't your kid who got a cell phone, guess what? They can simply pull it up right there for your kid to see. And
that is
kids know
goddamn
what they
true.
are and are not supposed to be watching and what they sneakily watching. They are
hell yeah.
Hell
no. They
watch
see
this
all
in the
that
back
shit.
of the bus.
And with the phones
they watch
now,
this in the back of the classroom. Shit. They
there you
sending
go.
this around. Shit.
And
they know.
look, this not even talking the girls who do the stuff in the school and they got the cameras that they taking pictures of. Now we ain't gonna even go there. Like nowadays that happens.
Nowadays,
it's like, these kids off the hook.
I mean, again, that's a conversation piece about sex that perhaps is not being had because my kid is in school engaging in sex acts in the building. Guess what? I ain't talked to you enough, baby girl.
Yes.
You're way too valuable to get down up in there. He ain't
Hell
he can't afford that shit. Not there. Nah, he ain't afford you there. I guarantee you that. You gotta speak about your self-worth, right?
You got to.
Period. As a male and as a female, right?
Yep.
These sex conversations, they're creeping up behind us and they're biting us in the ass and within our community. Especially with the way that we like to cast our girls all around the place,
Jesus.
Yeah, but it's technically conversations just are not being had early enough. The time is not at 14 to have that conversation.
Oh, hell no, that's too late.
It's way too late. Ooh. And the conversation about sex doesn't start with sex, right? Nope. It starts with anatomy in your body. And it starts at 5 and 6. Hell, it starts at 3 and 4, right?
You have to.
When you got teaching them about the right touches and the wrong touches.
Yes.
How to properly cleanse yourself. Right? And then you go and you build on the layers from there.
Exactly. You have to, because if not, the one thing, especially in this fucked up world today, do not allow your child to become a victim, because you're not talking to them about the uncomfortable thing of sex. Is how these kids become victim by teachers, by pastors, by some perv on the street, anybody. Because again, you can't say, "Oh, he look like he's behind a tree," or "He looks dirty." Them motherfuckers that molest kids don't look like some perv on the street. They look like a priest. They look like a teacher. They look like a normal human being. Right. So that's how they get close to you. And if you never had that real conversation with your kids, and they come and tell you, "Well, such told me to do this, and I felt uncomfortable when I did it." Now, That right there. So okay, I should have had this conversation, but I felt uncomfortable having that conversation. Now I
Mm-hmm.
gotta have the fucking conversation. I gotta have the conversation with my baby. I gotta go kill this motherfucker for touching my baby because she done told me some fuck shit that happened. I got to kill him. I'm
And you
not
ain't
gonna
even
call the
trying to
police.
kill nobody in real life. You just have regular life.
I'm just trying to have a regular life.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
But you
these
didn't
people,
properly protect your people because the predators do exist.
they
And
exist
a lot
all
of that,
over.
and I, my grandmother's super religious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her one day, I said, Grandma, what's your take on the I don't think at that point it was the LG I don't want to mess it up,
Q committee.
LGBTQ committee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they the group was in sync with the acronyms at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But the gay community is probably what I referenced it as. And her response,
I can imagine. Oh
it was
Lord.
basically like, but the other part to it that she had mentioned was the trauma behind it,
Mm.
right? That a lot of people had been traumatized,
Mm-hmm.
right? Young boys being touched by their mom's boyfriends,
Mm-hmm.
young girls being touched. I'm just going with
Mm-hmm.
touch.
Yep.
But there is also some bits of trauma
Yep.
that go that you know what I'm saying, that go to play
Mm-hmm.
with just that. Not just that doesn't just create the gay community, but creates a lot of different sexual things that we see within our community. The hypersexualized females,
Mm-hmm.
the super shut down men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, you see it. It's all over the place where sex is just improper,
Yes. Yes.
and it's just improper. And what we live in today
Hmm.
it's really the resultant, and it's like, what are we gonna do next? What we gonna do next?
And that's the scary thought because right now is people keep failing to realize these people grow up. These kids who are going through trauma, they grow up.
Oh
And what do
yeah,
you think happens to them?
they
If you
tell the
have
truth.
they tell the
That's how I
truth.
know the trauma exists, because these people grow up and they tell the truth.
Yep.
Like, hold on, I wasn't born attracted to boys. My mother's boyfriend kept touching me. That's
And so
somebody's words verbatim.
yeah. Yeah. And
Grandmother said
some of
that.
those people and some of those people become they start touching people because they never so now the perverts we talking about
Mhm.
obviously didn't become perverts. You don't grow up saying, I'm going to be a pervert when I grow up. Something had to happen to them.
Yes,
And instead
yes,
of really rationalize what happened to them, they just perpetuate the same shit that happened to them. So now
yep,
you add up you've now broken another person because of your unresolved trauma that was placed upon you. Now you put it on someone else, and now you continue that. So again, it's like, at what point do you say we as society really have to have that real conversation when it comes down to kids and teaching them and training them early. I mean, everybody don't want to have that conversation, which is always crazy to me. I don't want to talk to them about sex. I don't want to talk to them about anything. It's like it's they don't need to know about it. Well, they're gonna find out about that one way or the other anyway. But you don't want them to find out about that, the most obvious the most obvious way. So again, you got to have that conversation. You have to.
it's the one. Zaria, say hi. Hi.
Hey, baby.
Kids fresh
So,
from school.
oh
It's
Lord.
like, it's not the one that's, we can scream out, no, you're not getting a new pair of Jordans. It's not the super easy. Wash them dishes. We don't sometimes we don't even know how to start that conversation,
We
right?
don't. It's
We
uneasy.
don't even begin to know. And I always tell people, you want to talk to your kids about something, ask them about their friends first. Okay.
Yep.
That's your way in.
Yep.
That's
That's
your
true.
way in. If you're uncomfortable talking to your kids about anything, ask them what their friends doing first. If you want to ask your son if he's having sex yet, and you don't want to say, "Hi, son, are you having sex?"
Mm-hmm.
Are your friends fucking? Ask them
Yeah,
about their friends. Who
that's
in
true.
your friend circle is doing what? So for my get out of here, girl. For my middle child, he didn't like talking much, but I love saying, "Hey, who got a boy? Who got a girlfriend inside the classroom?" All right, and we talking about 10. And he like one. First of all, I think he was probably 9 years old. And one year, he said that one of the kids in the classroom had 3 girlfriends.
What?
And
God
now
dang.
we had a little player in the building, but the very idea that we had a young boy who identified with having multiple girlfriends at
Mm-hmm.
9 years old mean I had to humble myself as far as what they understood and what
Mm-hmm.
they knew, and the fact that he mentioned, "Yo, and he got 3 girlfriends," he knew it wasn't right.
Of course,
You
because
see what
he.
I'm so
But
just
that's upbringing.
that is upbringing. But the fact that I just started off that conversation, I didn't know how to really start it, but I got it started.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
you
my
have
son,
to.
you know him. He gonna tell me he not dating nobody. Girlfriend, my oh, okay, but I'm gonna keep on checking up on what your friends are doing because eventually, I'm. Yeah, I just want to. I don't want any surprises, and I kind of
No.
want to be able to gauge you. And so I think that's a good end. If you don't know
Yeah.
how to start talking to your kids and specifically about sex, ask them about their friends. Even the young ladies, you don't have to flat out ask your daughters, are they sexually active or anything like that, but just ask them, what type of nonsense going on in your high school? You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Who's getting caught up in who getting caught behind the staircases? Who getting caught behind the you can say very jokingly and tell a little joke. "Oh, you ain't got none of them in your school?" Because I remember, what was her name? Such and
Yep.
such. She used to get caught back there all the time. And just you have to do stuff like that just to kind of keep yourself real and relatable to them. Because if not, stuff like that going on in their schools.
You know they are.
Like,
And you do not want to be caught with your pants down and your
yep.
mouth open because at that point, don't go back. Would I, shoulda, woulda, coulda, because you
Mm-hmm.
kept avoiding it. You can't
Mm-hmm.
avoid it. You can't
Yep.
avoid the sex conversation. You can't avoid the conversation if you have a kid that's going through some things. You're
Yep.
going to have that conversation and get some help. Again, is if you say, "Hey, I can't handle it," there's times you're like, "I'm overwhelmed. I can't wrap my head around this. I can't understand it." Go seek help. And
Yep.
don't go to somebody, don't go to someone who's going to preach to you. Don't go to
Mm-hmm.
someone who's going to be judgmental. Go to
Mm-hmm.
someone, if you know someone that can do therapy, or someone has a background in it, or someone has a kid who's gay or going through that, have that conversation and talk to them so you know how to approach them. Because what you don't want to do is yell at your kid. Don't cuss
Yep.
them out. Don't tell them to go into hell. Don't tell them all that because once you burn that bridge of communication, they'll never talk to you again. And
I had
now they'll
one.
learn to.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I had one woman. She had mentioned first of all, people are weird to me. They want to know if my kids talk to me. Doesn't matter if my kids talk to me. I talk to them. So,
There you go.
but she basically said, does your children talk to you? Does your son talk to you? My son and her daughter were about the same age group. And I
Hmm.
said, yeah, he does. Right.
Hmm.
And my son, he does. He talks. I mean, maybe too much. Like, damn, Zico, turn on the radio. Let's hear some music as opposed to you speaking. But she was talking because she was basically going. Her next statement was her daughter doesn't speak to her. Well, first of
Uh-oh.
all, your daughter's gay. That's number one. And it
Oh.
was obvious, right?
Uh-huh.
Beautiful young lady. I mean, gorgeous, however which way she wanted to slice the pie, that girl's pretty. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Uh-huh.
And I could tell that she was, working on the other team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The mom knows. And then she mentions that to me. I think. Bending down and whispering in. What are you whispering for? That girl can still hear you. Why are you whispering? And I looked at that woman dead in her face and said, she's not talking to you because you're judging her.
Ah,
That's all. Who wants to be judged? I don't care if it's my grades, right? And I need to
nope.
talk to you about how the teacher talking to me. If you judging me on what
Hmm.
I'm doing in the class when I'm telling you I need somebody to advocate for me, there's no one else to advocate for me in this world other than my mom. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And dad. And if
Yeah.
those people are judging me, I ain't got nothing left. And so I'm looking at a
Nothing.
young girl who shut down. Mom says she been shut down. And I'm like, yeah, I know. She just ought to have because you're the worst. I don't even want to talk to you. I feel
Oh,
like you judging me. I said, the problem is that you didn't go through none of this stuff in high school. You was the type of person in high school who thought her shit didn't stink. And all the other girls who was, curious or anything like that, you
yes.
judging them
Hmm. And
as
see,
opposed to accepting them for who they were and keeping them moving. You opted to judge them, and you doing the same thing to your own daughter who is in need of your guidance.
she don't
What
have anything.
she don't got nothing. Whether you know how to navigate a different arena, right?
Hmm.
You would learn as a mom if you
You
cared enough.
should learn.
Right?
You
You
should learn.
should learn as a mom if you cared enough. My children go to French immersion schools, right? Where they're all
Hmm.
taught in French, right?
Okay.
If you care enough, you're not going to learn to speak French, right? I didn't tell
Hmm.
the mother to learn and go be gay too, right? But we are going to learn a few terms so that we become relatable and kind of on the in crowd to know
Hmm.
how to maneuver here, how to not
Yes.
offend here, how to not judge here.
Yes. Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
if you as a parent, if you have to judge your kid or you place judgment on your kid, you're no better than your neighbor next door. You know
Yep.
better than the congressman that keeps telling you need to vote for this to make your life better. You know better than anybody across the world because you're nothing special, just like
Mm-mm.
everybody else. So now for your child who
Yep.
came from your loins to feel like you didn't have enough oomph to even listen to them to see where they are because it made you feel uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
then
And
you
that
are
I could see it in her soul. I could see it in her essence. The gay
oh
thing, it was so uncomfortable for her because it's almost as if she had to wear it like a giant gold chain. And it was almost as if gold chains had gone out of style. You know what I'm saying?
wow.
Like, baby girl,
Wow.
it's actually not, though. It's actually
No.
not. It's not that. And then I see another whole nother group of women, right? Who like
Mm-hmm.
I started the podcast with that shit rolled off of them like water. You know what I'm saying? Kid come in the house, they're like, okay, whatever. You know,
Yes, because
we
that's
rolling
the
with the punches.
that's the reason why these kids are so disconnected because we want to be holier than thou, and
Mhm.
we're disappointed in it because we're disappointed because you make us look bad. Not
Yes.
not that, oh my God, you're going
Yes.
through this and let's work it out for you. Oh no, you're making me look bad in these streets. I can't
Yes.
believe that I'm Sister Pratt on the board, on the usher board. Now I got a gay child. You know how that looks in front of the
Hey,
church?
here's the weird part. A gay child excelling
Yes,
still makes you look bad.
makes you look bad. Again,
This
I
child probably was a straight A student. You know what I'm saying? And
wow,
again, super pretty. You can never take that away from the young lady. Super pretty. And
wow.
somehow she still does not represent you with pride. How's that possible?
Because you basically linked your self-worth as a parent around your child. So now you don't feel good about yourself, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So now this child is gonna make you feel good about yourself, but oh my God, my goddamn child disappointed me. I can't
Yep.
believe they couldn't
Yep.
just follow the plan that I had laid out
Yep.
for them and just do what they had to do and not be gay. I'd
Yep.
rather be on drugs than be gay. Because
Yep.
drugs, I can take you somewhere and we can figure it out and we can just
Yep.
work on that 12 step. But you being gay, there's no 12 steps for being gay. I just
You
got
want
to
me
keep
to add
praying on
another
it.
layer on it for you? Let me add
Yes.
another layer. I'm sorry. I'm being
No,
messy
no,
now.
go ahead. No, no, go ahead.
Andrew done took the kids away from their fathers.
No, no.
A lot of the people that I see, single mothers. And I don't want to say single mother by choice, but it be single mothers by choice, baby.
Oh,
And I don't want to break, because we could talk about the single mothers by choice on a whole nother podcast type of thing, because there are women choosing that and it's like it's totally shunning the dad, right?
oh yeah, that's another one because we got to talk
Yeah,
about that because
but
that's another part.
these groups, that's them too. So
Ah,
you try to do the job better than the father could, right?
mm-hmm.
Because he technically disappointed you, as you like to say, right? But you probably disappointed him too. Um,
Yep,
then you said, "The hell with him. I'm gonna raise this child by myself," which is totally inappropriate and was not your right or place to do so, right?
exactly.
And so then you tried to down talk him and then made it hard for him to see the child and all that other bullshit. Like, it's never hard for a woman to see her child, but somehow it's hard for the man to have to see his kid.
Always hard for him.
Wrong with us, right?
Always.
It
Mm-hmm.
ain't never gonna be hard for my kids to see their daddy. I can guarantee them that right now. Nah, where you at? Where
That's
you at?
true.
Big Zico. No. Never will be hard, because a father is a father. But you see
Yes.
this community of women who, like you said, have all this disappointment. The men done disappointed them. Their relationships done disappointed them.
Yep.
Now they got their kid and they holding on to their kid as their prized possession. And this is going to be the thing that shows, right, their
Mm-hmm.
greatness as a parent, as a woman. I did it without him, type of
Exactly.
thing. And I did
Yes.
it. Good job. And then boom, then you knock me over and say, "Oh, you gay." So now I didn't do a good job. Who the hell said you didn't do
Oh,
a good job though? But that's how
but
people get the feeling.
yep. And now you want to disown the kid. Because now I don't know what happened. I did the best I could. I bought you this. I did this for you. I did this for you. I did that for you.
Yeah. And if
But
you
you
ain't disowning them, then you want to ignore them by the time they turn into adulthood.
and then you'll be surprised when that child goes to college or goes away and don't come back or
Mm-mm.
don't call you. So around
Mm-mm.
this time of the year, this month of December, there's a lot of disappointed parents because there's parents who basically ran their kids away because of that.
Yes. Oh,
And
yeah.
now they're sitting around thinking, I wonder if they'll call me this Christmas. I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if they'll send me a card. Maybe they'll
Mm-hmm.
text me. And this
Mm-hmm.
it's going on 5, 6 years, and they haven't reached out to you at all. Because they
Mm-hmm.
said, why should I reach out to you? You're the same person I knew 6 years ago. In fact,
Yep.
you're worse now. You're older. So you're more
Yep.
stuck in your ways. You're not going to
Yep.
change. You're not going to look at it and say, I messed up, that I need to reach out to him with olive branch and say, I'm sorry, and let's talk. No, you're stuck in your ways because you want to be right, but you're still lonely. Christmas Day gonna come and you're still not gonna have a card or a phone call or a text message or a gift under that tree
Because
because that kid.
all of that boils down to that feel good, that warm and cozy feeling. You're
Yep.
not going to feel good at all. Nobody's
No,
sending you those things because you didn't send them out first.
you didn't send them out, so why should you expect it back?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Again, you put
Mm-hmm.
out what you want back. Like people
Yeah.
want to point that one finger, but there's always four pointing back at you.
Oh, yes,
But
there are.
so you have to understand, you have to love your child unconditionally. And I have to use that word unconditionally
Mm-hmm.
because if you do it other than unconditionally, you
Mm-hmm.
will have problems. It
Yeah.
will be a problem until the day you die. And so understand and love your kids for whoever they are. Be there to
Mm-hmm.
support them, be there to hold them, give them a tissue to wipe their eyes, be that ear for them. But don't judge them. No
Mm-hmm.
one on walking the face of this earth can judge anyone. All you can do is try to help people do the best they can. But you cannot say they're disappointed to go into hell because this T. Have you ever seen anyone who has died has come back to you and say, you know what? You better do this. Heaven and hell is a pretty bad place. I haven't seen one yet. I haven't seen
No,
anybody do that yet.
no.
So my thing is do right by people. I shouldn't, as I said before, I don't need a Bible, Quran, any other book to tell me to do right by people.
Yep.
Love people how you want to be treated. Love people for who they are, not for what you want them to be, but for who they are. If they're a great kid doing great stuff and they just so happen to be gay, love them because they
Mhm.
are still part of you.
And
Love them and
introduce
support.
them to stuff, right?
Yes, yes.
Like I don't understand how the buck ends just because your kid said that they gay today. No, that's not the end of the sexual experience. And they just
No,
might be gay to the end of the earth. But hey, guess what? Are they happy?
happy. That's all I care about. Happy. People have died. We are talking about this subject. We people around this world have died and they will die every day because they can't handle the loneliness, the shame, the disappointment, and they just say I'd rather die and I would rather leave this earth than to be here and be miserable for another day because I
Mhm,
literally have no one on this face of the earth that loves me for me. That's
mhm,
it. Don't love me
mhm.
because you're my kid. Or love me for me. Love me
Yeah.
for who I am. Love me for the person that I am. Don't love me for your dreams and aspirations that I can't fulfill. I have to love and carry my own dreams and aspirations. And if that means I have to be with a man, if I'm a guy, or a woman, if I'm a woman, or I maybe want to say I like men, I like women. Okay, you have to. If that's how you work, I'm going to have to be there and roll with you. But I can't discount you. I can't hold my love back, and just because I want you to feel my pain. Because to me, I feel like I'm gonna hold my love for you so you can feel my hurt that I have. So we both gonna hurt. You hurt because I don't like you because you're gay. Well, I hurt because you are gay. So
Yeah.
we both gonna hurt. And so in the
That's
end, we both shooting at each other. We're both
it
gonna
doesn't
bleed. We're both gonna die.
yeah, it doesn't serve anybody. It
None.
doesn't serve anybody in the end. And
No.
ultimately, you're supposed to be creating these relationships that serve us both.
Yes, and you want to make sure that you are raising healthy, loving, balanced human beings. That's it. That happen to love people, that happen to love unconditionally. Because you wouldn't want them to love you unconditionally. I mean,
Absolutely.
conditionally. It's like, I only love you, mom, if you pay me. If you give me
Yeah.
some money, I love you. But if you don't pay me, I can't love you. So you wouldn't want that. So give the same back as you want for yourself. So we are definitely going to keep talking about this because this is going to open up to another conversation we may have next week about older people, but we'll say that for next week. So, peoples, if you love our conversations, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. You can reach M on Overcome to Become. And how to reach you, T?
At trust_city.
Hey, peoples, we'll be back next week with some more knowledge. Peace and blessings. Take care.